So here what we have is an R44 main rotor blade. And those are the blades at the very top of the helicopter, the big blades on top of the helicopter. And what we're going to do is I'm going to be tapping it. I'm going to be tapping it along the main rotor blade surface. And there's a reason why. Because I'm going to be listening to that sound and see if there's a difference. And I'm specifically looking for a very high pitched sound in comparison to a very low, kind of dull sound. And that dull sound is going to tell me one very specific thing. What that thing is called a delamination. So a good example of this is to imagine like pieces of paper. So imagine that this is your composite material and you have all these little layers. What we do is we roll these layers over top of each other and we glue them together and they become a nice solid airfoil. And what will happen is that maybe due to manufacturing defects or an accident or something that was not predicted will end up happening. And so there's one of these pieces of material or these composite layers will peel up just ever so slightly. So what we have is we actually have this, you see there's like an air gap between the top and the bottom, this layer and that layer. That's going to be a delamination. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be tapping along the blade. And when I come to this delamination part, I'm going to be tap, 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 and it's going to sound significantly different in this region versus this region or this region, because these two regions are not delammed, whether this region right here has a delamination. It's going to make more of a thud sound rather than a nice high pitched sound over here. This can be very dangerous to the helicopter. So what we do is we inspect it by tapping it. So I'll have a look here. I'm just tapping along. And there it's a little bit dull. That's nice and crisp. Nice and crisp, dull. Very dull sounding. So if I go over it again, right there, it sounds very dull and crisp. And what we'll do is we'll map it out to see how big that void is and if it's allowed to be a void within that blade as per the manufacturer's recommendations.